I used to think love was simple. You give, they give back. You trust, they stay loyal. That's what I believed when I married Alina. She smiled like she meant it, held my hand in front of my parents and whispered, "I love you," like it was a promise carved in stone. I never realized how easily she could lie. That evening, I came home early. The apartment was quiet, except for her laughter. It wasn't the kind she used with me, it was sharper, freer. "Daniel, stop," she giggled. "You'll make me blush." My heart stopped. "Daniel?" I leaned against the wall, listening. "He believes everything," she said. "His parents think I'm perfect." My grip tightened on the doorknob. I wanted to storm in, but something inside me told me to wait. I listened for one more minute, just one, and that was enough to destroy everything. When I finally stepped into the room, she froze. Her phone slipped from her hand. "Alina?" I said quietly. "Who's Daniel?" She blinked fast. It's just a coworker." "Coworker?" I forced a smile. "Do you call all your coworkers at night and tell them your husband is stupid?" She flinched. "You're overreacting." "I heard everything," I said. "Tell me the truth." Her face hardened. "Fine. Yes, I was talking to him." "But it's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I asked. "You wouldn't understand," she snapped. "You're always busy, always working. I'm lonely. So cheating fills the loneliness?" She crossed her arms. "I didn't cheat." "Alina," I whispered. "Don't insult me further." She looked away, then suddenly her eyes filled with tears. "You always make me feel small, Aiden. You never listen. You never care how I feel. Now you're the victim?" I said, laughing bitterly. "You're incredible." Before I could say more, my phone rang. It was my mother. "Aiden, can you come home? We need to talk. Alina called us." My chest tightened. "She what?" Alina turned away, wiping fake tears. "I told them everything," she said softly. "What exactly did you tell them?" I asked. "That you've been angry lately." "That you shout." "That I'm scared sometimes." I stared at her, disbelief freezing me. "You told my parents I'm abusive?" "You are when you're like this," she yelled. "Alina, I didn't even raise my voice until now." "You make me feel unsafe," she whispered dramatically, her voice trembling just enough to sound believable. I laughed once. "You're good. You should have been an actress." Her expression didn't change. Maybe I just got tired of pretending. Pretending. The word burned through me. "Pretending what?" "That you ever loved me?" She didn't answer. That silence hurt more than any insult. I grabbed my jacket. "You win," I said. "You always do." She followed me to the door. "Where are you going?" "Somewhere I can breathe." When I reached my parents' house, my father was standing outside, waiting. His face was cold, unreadable. "Dad?" I started. "Whatever she told you," he cut me off. "I never thought I'd raise a son who'd raise his hand on a woman." "I didn't." "Enough," he said sharply. "Go inside." My mother sat on the sofa, eyes red. "Aiden, why didn't you tell us you were struggling?" "Because there's nothing to tell," I said. "She's lying." Alina entered behind me, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I didn't want to say anything," she whispered, "but I couldn't live in fear anymore." My mother hugged her. My father glared at me like I was a stranger. "Mom, please," I said. "You know me," she shook her head. "We'll talk later. Just leave for tonight." I turned to Alina. She wouldn't even look at me. That's when I realized it wasn't just my marriage breaking. It was my family, too. I walked out into the cold night. The street was empty. Every step felt heavier than the last. When I reached my car, I leaned against it and let out a shaky laugh. "You really did it, Alina," I muttered. "You turned them all against me." I looked up at the sky. It was dark, silent, indifferent. For the first time, I understood how easy it was to lose everything, not through death, but through betrayal. That night, I packed my things. No fights, no goodbyes, just silence. As I closed the door behind me, I whispered, "You wanted freedom, Alina. Now you have it." But deep down, I knew. I wasn't the one who lost something tonight. She did. Liam opened the door before I even knocked. "You look like hell," he said. "I feel worse," I muttered, stepping inside. "Come in, man. You can stay here as long as you need." I dropped my bag on the floor. "Thanks. I need a place where no one looks at me like I'm a monster. He frowned. Your parents still believe her? I nodded. Completely. She cried, they listened, and I became the villain. Liam sighed. I always knew she was manipulative. But this is evil. I sat on the couch, staring at the floor. My phone buzzed again, 10 new messages. I didn't even look. Are they from her? He asked. No, my parents. Same thing. Disappointment, guilt, sermons about self-control. You should tell them the truth. I tried, I said quietly. They didn't want to hear it. He handed me a glass of water. Then stop explaining yourself. Let time do the talking. I smiled faintly. That's what I'm afraid of. Time's been cruel lately. He didn't answer. The silence stretched, heavy but kind. It was the first silence that didn't choke me. For the next few days, Liam talked. I mostly listened. He tried to distract me, movies, work talk, even bad jokes, but my mind kept drifting back. I'd see Alina's face, hear her voice whispering lies. One night he said, "You keep spacing out." I keep replaying everything, I admitted. Every laugh, every word. I'm trying to find the moment where it all went wrong. He leaned forward. You'll never find it. People like her don't break overnight, they just stop pretending. I looked away. She didn't just break me, Liam, she took my family with her. He nodded slowly. Then build yourself again. Without her. His words sounded simple, but they felt impossible. A week later, I went back to work. The whispers started before I even sat down. Did you hear what he did? Someone whispered. Poor Alina. Yeah, another voice said. He seems so calm, but you never know. I kept typing, pretending not to hear. But every word stuck like a thorn. At lunch, my colleague Sarah walked over. Aiden, are you okay? I forced a smile. I'm fine, she hesitated. People are talking, you know. I know. Do you want me to tell them? No, I cut in. Let them talk. The truth doesn't need my defense, she nodded quietly. You don't deserve this. Her kindness almost broke me. Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate it. When I got home that evening, Liam was cooking. Rough day? Same as every day, I said. Everyone's got an opinion. None of them mine. He placed a plate on the table. Eat first, think later. I sat down, poked the food, and said, You ever feel like silence is louder than noise? He looked at me. You mean when it eats you alive? Exactly, I said. That's what it feels like. Like I'm shouting inside, but no one can hear. He leaned back. Then stop shouting inside. Speak when it matters, I laughed softly. And when will that be? When she ruins herself, he said. Because she will. I wanted to believe him. You really think karma works? He shrugged. Not fast, but always. I stared at my plate. I used to believe in fairness. Now I just believe in endurance. Then endure, he said simply. The next morning, I turned off my phone. The silence was heavy at first, but slowly it became peaceful. No calls, no accusations. Just air and space, days blurred together. I started running in the mornings, working late, sleeping less. The exhaustion numbed me in ways alcohol never could. Sometimes Liam tried to talk. You're fading, man, he said. I'm just resting, I lied. You're hiding. Maybe, I said. But hiding hurts less than hoping, he sighed. You can't stay like this forever. I'm not planning to, I said quietly. I just need to stop bleeding before I move. He didn't push further. One night, I stood on the balcony, looking at the city lights. My phone buzzed again, Alina's name. I stared at it for a long moment, then turned it off. Inside, Liam asked, You're not answering? No, I already heard everything she has to say. What if she's sorry? I laughed bitterly. Then she can apologize to her own reflection. He nodded once. Proud of you, man. I looked at him. Don't be. I'm not strong. I'm just empty, he didn't reply. He didn't need to. I leaned against the railing, letting the cold wind hit my face. Silence again, only this time it didn't feel like punishment. It felt like armor, I whispered to myself. Let her talk. Let them all talk. The truth doesn't need noise. And for the first time, the silence didn't hurt. It healed. When my mother called and said, Come home, Aiden, we need to talk, I knew it wasn't really we. It was her. I walked into the house and there she was, Alina, sitting on the couch, pretending to cry, her head resting on my mother's shoulder. My father stood near the window, silent, distant. Alina said she wants to make peace, my mother said softly. I laughed once. Peace? That's new. Alina looked up, eyes red but dry. I just want closure, she said. Closure? I stepped closer. You burned my name, destroyed my reputation, turned my parents against me, and now you want closure? She swallowed. I never meant to hurt anyone. I stared at her. You didn't mean it, but you did it anyway. My father spoke for the first time. Aiden, calm down. I am calm, I said. For once in my life, I'm perfectly calm. Alina reached for a tissue, voice trembling just enough to sound rehearsed. I was lost. I made mistakes. Mistakes? I asked. You called me abusive, Alina. You told them I screamed that I scared you. That's not a mistake. That's character assassination. Her lip trembled. You were always so cold. I needed warmth. I felt something snap inside me. So you found it in someone else's bed? My mother gasped. Aiden! I turned to her. No, Mom, you need to hear it. She cheated. She lied. And she made you believe I was the monster. Elena stood up quickly. Stop twisting it. You neglected me. I stepped forward, voice low. I worked for us. I built everything we had. And you called it neglect? She crossed her arms. You never gave me the life I wanted. The words hit harder than any slap. I stared at her, speechless for a moment. The life you wanted? I repeated. What was that, Alina? More money? More attention? Someone richer? Someone dumber? She looked away. You wouldn't understand. I nodded slowly. You're right. I don't. Because I thought love was enough. My father sighed. Aiden, please don't make this worse. I turned to him. Worse, Dad, she already made it worse. You think I'm angry because she betrayed me? No. I'm angry because she used you to do it. Alina took a step back. You're twisting everything again. No, I said quietly. I'm just finally telling the truth. My mother whispered, maybe we should all calm down. Calm down? I laughed bitterly. I've been calm for weeks, silent, humiliated, watching my name rot while she played the victim. Alina's voice cracked. You're cruel. Cruel? I asked. You cried in my mother's arms after lying to her face. You let them think I was dangerous. You stood by while I lost everything. And I'm cruel? Her hands shook. I just wanted to be happy. At whose expense? I said. The room fell silent. Only the clock ticked between us. Finally, my father said, Enough. Both of you, I looked at him. No, Dad, I'm done. There's nothing left to fix, Alina whispered. So that's it? That's it, I said. You got the freedom you wanted. Enjoy it. She opened her mouth, but I didn't wait to hear more. I turned and walked out. My mother called after me. Aiden, where are you going? Somewhere peaceful, I said without turning back. Outside, the air hit my face like cold truth. My heart pounded, but not with pain anymore. Something stronger, sharper. I looked at the house one last time. Through the window, I saw her hugging my mother again, crying fake tears. And for the first time, I didn't feel broken. I felt empty. But that emptiness was quiet, controlled. As I walked away, I whispered to myself, no screaming, no tears, just silence. That silence wrapped around me like armor. It wasn't weakness anymore, it was power. And for the first time since everything began, I realized I didn't need to prove anything. Time would do it for me. Liam tossed a box onto my new apartment floor. You know, for a guy who swore he'd live in chaos forever, you've turned weirdly organized. I smirked. Order helps me breathe. He nodded, wiping sweat from his forehead. You've changed, man. You don't even talk about her anymore. I don't need to, I said. Talking kept her alive in my head. Silence buried her, he laughed softly. That's poetic and mildly terrifying, I shrugged. It's just honest. The apartment was small but clean. Fresh paint, sunlight, no ghosts. I'd bought plants even though I barely knew how to keep them alive. Maybe I just wanted to prove something could grow again. Liam looked around. You're doing good, Aiden, you really are. I'm trying, I said. Work helps. Keeps my head straight, he grinned. Heard about that promotion. The boss actually called you reliable. You should frame that. I smiled. Maybe I will. For a moment, we just stood there, quiet but not the heavy kind. Then my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Congrats on the promotion. You deserve it. No name, but I knew who it was. Elena. I stared at the screen, then deleted it. Liam noticed. Her? Yeah, you gonna reply? No, he exhaled. Good. We ordered takeout that night and talked about anything but the past. It felt good. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in months. Weeks later, I met Raya. She joined our department, quiet but sharp. With this calm energy that didn't demand attention, it just existed. On her second day, she said, "You type like you're punishing the keyboard." I chuckled. "Occupational therapy," she smiled faintly. "You must have been through something. Who hasn't?" I replied she didn't push. That was the first thing I liked about her. She understood silence the way I did. At lunch, she'd sit near me, talk about small things, music, travel, bad office coffee. No prying, no pity. Just presence. One afternoon, she caught me staring at the rain outside the office window. "You like the rain?" she asked. "It's honest," I said. "It falls, it stops, and it doesn't apologize." She nodded. I like that. Days turned into weeks. The heaviness in my chest faded into something manageable. Work felt lighter. I even started sleeping properly again. Liam noticed first. "You're smiling too much lately," he teased. "What's her name?" I rolled my eyes. "Raya." Ah, I knew it. The quiet ones always get you. "She's different," I said. "Different how?" "She doesn't try to fix me." "She just listens," he smirked. "That's rare." "Don't screw it up," I laughed. "I'm not planning to." Then one morning, gossip swept through the office. Daniel, Alina's new man, had left her. Apparently, the truth about everything she said had started leaking out. Rhea found me by the coffee machine. "You okay?" I nodded. "Better than ever. You know her?" she asked carefully. "Used to," I said. "Not anymore." She studied my face. "You don't look angry." "I'm not," I replied. "Anger keeps you tied to the past." "I'm done with that," she smiled gently. "Then you're free." Maybe I was. That night, I walked home alone, city lights reflecting off wet pavement. I passed by a bookstore, stopped, and bought a new journal. At home, I opened it, wrote only one line: "Karma doesn't need help. It just needs time." For the first time, I believed it. Weeks passed, and life quietly rebuilt itself. I learned to cook more than instant noodles. I read again. I started running in the mornings. Rhea and I grew closer, but not in a rushed way. She'd say things like, "You think too much," and I'd reply, "That's how I survive." She'd laugh. "Maybe now you can start living instead." Maybe she was right. Liam came over one weekend, saw the plants thriving by the window. "Damn," he said. "You've got green thumbs now?" "Maybe they just needed peace," I said. He grinned. "You're turning philosophical." "Maybe just grateful." He raised a brow. "For what?" "For endings," I said. "They make room for beginnings." We clinked our coffee mugs like a quiet toast. That night, before sleeping, I looked around the apartment, the books, the light, the stillness. It wasn't loud success, but it was real peace, and for the first time, I didn't want revenge, validation, or closure. Just this, my silence, my space, my life. I was half asleep when my phone buzzed. Liam's name flashed on the screen. "Bro, you need to see this," he said, voice tight. "What is it?" I mumbled. He sent a picture. Alina, sitting in a cheap restaurant, makeup smudged, arguing with Daniel. Her hands were in the air, his face buried in frustration. I stared at it for a long moment. "So that's what perfect love looks like now," I said quietly. Liam sighed. "Guess karma's clock finally struck." "Maybe," I replied. "Or maybe it's just her turn to break," he hesitated. "You don't sound happy." "I'm not," I said. "It's strange. I thought I'd feel something. But it's just quiet," he exhaled. "That's peace, man." I ended the call and sat there, the glow of the screen fading. The silence felt heavy, not painful, just full of closure. The next morning, my phone rang again. This time, my father. I hadn't heard his voice in months. "Aiden," he said, voice trembling. "Can you come over?" "Please." There was a kind of fear in his tone that made me say yes. When I reached their house, my mother was crying on the couch. My father stood by the window holding papers in his hand. Aunt Miriam sat beside my mother, her expression sharp and calm. My father turned to me. "Your aunt found something," he said quietly. Aunt Miriam handed me a folder. "I never trusted her," she said. So I dug deeper. Inside were screenshots, messages Alina had sent Daniel while we were still married. Plans, fake bruises she'd staged with makeup, even bank transfers from my father's account to hers that she'd redirected to Daniel. I stared at the proof, the betrayal now printed in black and white. My mother whispered, "She told us you hurt her." We believed her, I swallowed hard. You wanted to believe her. That's different. My father's eyes glistened. Son, I'm sorry. I failed you. The words hit me harder than I expected. I sat down slowly. You believed her lies because she cried louder than I spoke. He nodded, his voice breaking. I know. I'll never forgive myself. Aunt Miriam leaned forward. The truth always comes out, Aiden. It just takes time. I looked at her. You were the only one who didn't turn away. She smiled faintly. Because I've seen people like her before. My phone buzzed again, notifications lighting up. Social media posts, screenshots spreading. Alina's name was everywhere. Someone had leaked everything. My father looked at me nervously. The world knows now. Her reputation, it's gone. My mother covered her face, whispering, God forgive her. I didn't speak for a while, just watched the chaos unfold through a screen. Messages poured in from old friends, colleagues, even distant relatives, all saying the same thing. You were right. Liam called again. Dude, the internet's on fire. She's trending. People are calling her out. Even Daniel deleted his accounts. I rubbed my forehead. Let it burn. I'm not getting involved, he paused. You're serious? Yes, I waited for truth, not revenge. I won't ruin that now. He chuckled softly. Man, you've really changed. Maybe I just stopped needing to win, I said. Later that night, my father knocked on my bedroom door. May I come in? Of course, I said. He sat on the edge of the bed, hesitant. Your mother can't stop crying. She says she failed you as a parent. She didn't, I replied quietly. You both just trusted the wrong person. He looked down. You don't hate us? No, I said. Hate's just another chain, he nodded slowly. You sound like someone who's finally free. Maybe I am, I whispered. The house was silent after he left. I opened my journal, the same one I'd started months ago. I wrote, the truth doesn't shout. It waits. The next morning, Liam showed up at my door with coffee. You see the news? Yeah, I said. It's everywhere. He handed me the cup. Feels good though, right? I smiled faintly. It feels balanced, he grinned. That's a poetic way to say justice served. Maybe, I said, sipping my coffee. But justice isn't loud. It's quiet. Like me now, he raised an eyebrow. So what now? I looked out the window. Now, I live. That's the only revenge worth having, he nodded. You really mean that? I do, I said. I told everyone the truth would speak for itself. It finally did. I wasn't expecting the knock. It was late and rain tapped softly against my window. When I opened the door, she was there. Alina. Her eyes were swollen, her clothes damp. For a second, neither of us spoke. Aiden, she whispered, voice trembling. Please, can I come in? I hesitated, then stepped aside. Make it quick. She entered slowly, looking around my apartment like it was some foreign world. You moved? She murmured. People do that when their lives fall apart, I said. Her hands shook as she set her bag down. I ruined everything. I leaned against the counter. Yes, you did. She looked up at me, tears already forming. I never thought it would go this far. I thought I could fix it. By lying? I asked. I panicked, she said. I didn't know what to do when Daniel started. I raised my hand. Stop, don't say his name. She swallowed hard. I lost him too, Aiden. He left me with nothing. Everyone hates me now. Your parents won't even open the door when I visit. They shouldn't, I replied. She stepped closer. Please, just talk to them for me. Tell them I'm sorry, I laughed quietly. You want me to help you fix what you destroyed? Her voice cracked. I know I don't deserve it, but I can't live like this. Every night I see their faces, the way your mother looked at me when she found out. I crossed my arms. You didn't care about that when you painted me as a monster. I was angry, she cried. You were distant, cold. Because I was tired, I cut in. Tired of pretending everything was perfect. She lowered her head. I thought if I made you look worse, I'd feel better. And did you? I asked. She shook her head. No, I hate myself for it. Silence filled the room, heavy and sharp. I could hear her breathing, uneven and desperate. She whispered, "Please, Hayden, help me make things right." I stared at her. The same woman who once held my hand in front of my parents, who lied with a straight face while I stood silent. "You want forgiveness?" I said quietly. "Then start with yourself." Her knees gave out and she sank to the floor. "I can't. I don't even recognize who I am anymore." I took a step back. "That's not my problem anymore." Tears streamed down her face. "You have every right to hate me, but please don't turn your back. Just tell me there's a chance I can make it right." I exhaled slowly. "You already had your chance. You used it to destroy everything I loved." She covered her face with her hands, sobbing. "I never meant to hurt you like this." "Intentions don't erase consequences," I said. "You wanted a life you thought I couldn't give. Now you have it. Emptiness." She looked up, eyes red and raw. "You're cruel." "No," I said softly. "I'm honest. You just never liked honesty." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "I loved you once," I said. "Enough to believe every lie you told. But that man doesn't exist anymore." Her voice broke. "Then who are you now?" I smiled faintly. "Someone who doesn't need your apology." She stared at me, lost, trembling. "So this is it?" "Yes," I said. "This is the part where you face yourself." She stood slowly, wiping her tears. "I don't know how." "Then learn," I said. "That's what I had to do." For a moment, she looked like she might speak again, but no words came. She turned toward the door, her steps slow, defeated. Before she left, she whispered, "I'm sorry." I nodded once. "I know." When the door closed, the silence felt different. Not empty, but final. I sat down, watching the rain slide down the glass, and whispered to myself, I forgave the wrong person for too long. Then I smiled, small, tired, free. When my father called, his voice sounded lighter than I remembered. "Aiden," he said, "your mother and I want you to come home. Dinner's at 7. I paused for a second before replying. "Are you sure about that?" He chuckled softly. "Son, it's your house too. Always was." When I reached the gate, the evening sun painted the walls gold. My mother was standing by the door, hands trembling. My father came down the steps, smiling. For the first time in months, his eyes weren't heavy. He pulled me into a hug. "You came back," he said quietly. I nodded. I never really left. Just needed space to remember who I was. He tightened his grip. "You came back stronger, not bitter. That's what makes you my son." My mother joined us, tears running down her cheeks. "I prayed every day that you wouldn't let hate eat you," she said. "I didn't," I replied. "It almost did, but I let it starve," she smiled weakly. "That's my boy." We walked inside. The house smelled like it used to, cardamom tea and warmth. Aunt Miriam was sitting in the living room, flipping through old photos. She looked up, grinning. "Well," she said, "look who finally remembered his old aunt." I laughed. "You're the reason I survived half of this mess." She winked. "Don't give me too much credit. I just don't like liars." We all sat together, laughter filling the silence that used to choke these walls. For a moment, it almost felt like nothing had happened. Almost. Then I heard it. A voice outside the gate. My mother froze. "Please, just 1 minute." It was Alina. My father's face hardened. "She has some nerve showing up here." My mother stood quietly, her hands twisting in her scarf. "Should we?" "No," Aunt Miriam interrupted firmly. "Some mistakes are meant to be lived with." The room fell silent. I walked to the window. Alina stood outside, her hair unkempt, eyes swollen. She clutched the gate like it was the last thing keeping her standing. She saw me through the bars. "Aiden," she called out, voice breaking. "Please, I just need them to forgive me." I opened the door and stepped onto the porch. The air was cold, sharp. "Alina," I said quietly, "go home." She shook her head. "I don't have one anymore." "That's not my fault," I said. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I lost everything. I just want to tell them I'm sorry." "My parents don't owe you peace," I said. "You already took enough from them." She pressed her forehead against the metal bars. "I don't want pity. I just want forgiveness." Aunt Miriam's voice came from behind me. "Forgiveness isn't something you demand. It's something you earn." Alina turned toward her, sobbing. "I don't know how to earn it anymore." "Then live with that," Aunt Miriam said. "That's your punishment." Alina's shoulders shook as she whispered, "I deserve it." I looked at her, the woman who once destroyed me, and for the first time I didn't feel rage. Just stillness. You don't need my forgiveness to move on, I said softly. You need your own. She met my eyes, tears falling fast. Do you really forgive yourself? Yes, I said. Because I learned something you never did. Peace doesn't come from fixing the past. It comes from facing it. She stepped back slowly, nodding, defeated. Goodbye, Aiden. I watched her walk away until the streetlight swallowed her shadow. Then I went back inside. My mother touched my arm. You didn't yell, she whispered. I don't need to, I said. The silence says enough. My father poured me tea. Feels like we got our son back. I smiled faintly. You did, and maybe I got myself back too. We sat together, the four of us, as the night wrapped around the house. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel broken. I just felt free. The cafe hadn't changed. Same wooden chairs, same smell of roasted beans, same view of the street where my life once fell apart. But somehow, the light felt different now. Warmer, softer, like it was forgiving me too. I sat at the corner table, the one where I used to wait for Alina. The cup in front of me steamed gently. My reflection in it didn't look like the man I used to be. The bell above the door chimed. Ria walked in. She wore a simple blue dress, hair tied back loosely, and that calm smile that never asked for attention. You're early, she said, sliding into the seat across from me. I smiled faintly. Old habits. I used to come early for someone else. She tilted her head. Do you still think about her? I looked down at my cup. Sometimes, not with pain anymore, just distance. That's progress, she said, stirring her coffee. You don't have to erase the past to move on. I used to think healing meant forgetting, I said. Turns out it just means remembering without bleeding. She smiled softly. That's a beautiful way to put it. The waiter passed by, and for a second, I caught my reflection in the window. Not haunted, not angry, just quiet. Ria leaned forward. So how's life treating you now? Strangely peaceful, I said. I wake up without dread. I work, I run, I sleep. Nothing dramatic, but it feels good. She laughed lightly. Peace is underrated. Yeah, I said. I used to chase chaos and call it love. She sipped her coffee. You don't look like a man chasing anything anymore. I chuckled. Maybe I finally stopped running. Or maybe, she said, you started walking in the right direction. Her words lingered between us. I looked out the window. The street was alive again. Kids running, sunlight spilling over the pavement, people laughing like the world had no scars. You ever wonder, I said, how something can end so painfully and still lead you somewhere better? All the time, she replied. But that's how growth works. It's not clean. It's messy, loud, and necessary. I smiled. You sound like you've lived through something similar. She looked down for a moment. We all have our stories. Mine just taught me that broken doesn't mean finished. I nodded slowly. Maybe that's what I needed to hear months ago. Ria smiled faintly. You weren't ready to hear it then. You were still fighting ghosts. I buried them, I said quietly. One by one. And what's left now? She asked. Me, I said simply. Just me. She reached for her cup again, eyes soft. That's enough. For a while we didn't talk. The silence wasn't awkward, it was peaceful. The kind of quiet that comes after a long storm. Outside, the morning light grew brighter. I remembered the nights I spent drowning in regret, the days I thought I'd never breathe freely again. Ria broke the silence. You ever think about starting over? Not in love, in life. I already did, I said. Starting over isn't about places or people. It's about finally choosing peace, she smiled. Then cheers to that. Our cups clinked softly. The sound felt like closure. I leaned back, watching the sunlight spill across the table. Funny, I said. This is the same cafe where everything ended. And somehow it's where everything feels new again. Ria looked around. Maybe it's not the cafe that changed. Maybe it's you, I met her gaze. Maybe you're right. The clock ticked gently in the background. The world outside didn't slow down. It never does. But for once, I didn't need it to. I looked out the window, the words forming before I even realized I was speaking. I survived, I whispered. Ria smiled, her voice soft but certain. No, Aiden, you lived. And for the first time in years, I truly believed it.